Hello everyone, Daniel Kerr here. Today I'm going to make 3 separate psydub tracks to be performed together with the Akai Force, the Korg ES2 or Electribe sampler, and the Korg ESX. Today we're going to write for the Korg ESX. The first 10 minutes or so are going to be in Ableton. So if you want to skip forward, there are chapter and timestamps in the description. We're going to be writing in 160 BPMs, and this is so that when we perform with the Korg ES2, which only has 4 bars, it can squeeze 8 bars out of 80 BPMs, which is half of 160. So today we're going to be writing in 160, and it ends up being in D minor. So they're all going to be in D minor. These are going to be 3 separate tracks. They're not going to be related except for with the scale and the tempo. So when I perform them together, I will be hearing it for the first time, just like all of you. Let's get into it. So the first thing we got to do is we have to crack open Ableton. I've got an analog going, and I basically just throw down one note, and it's first in C, so that I can try to choose a scale. Now I'm selecting the notes, and I'm going to transpose them up and down just so I can find what I'm looking for, and I end up, as I said, in D minor. I'm duplicating the notes to get a chug-a-lug psy bass line. I'm going to mess with the envelope a little. Going to change from 8-voice poly to monophonic so that one note doesn't overlap with another. Mess with the filter a little bit. And I'm going to add an auto filter. Pull some of those high transients out. I'm grabbing an isotope iris for track 2 for pads. Go into my sample packs and I grab one of my bass collections and I add it to the sample selector in the Iris 2. As you can see, I've laid down some pad chords in the piano roll. I've changed a little bit of the voice. Now I'm going to mess with the notes. I'm not exactly happy with them yet. I've added some Valhalla Supermassive. Now I'm going to freeze these tracks because it's stressing out my CPU. I'm going to add an operator. Pure sine wave. I'm going to add an arpeggiator. Increase the steps, which is octave changes on the arpeggiator. And now I'm writing an arpeggiator line in real time. What I do right after this is the MIDI channel that's next to the arpeggiator, and you'll see this. I'm going to set it to get MIDI from the arpeggiator on channel 3. Now it's just recording the arpeggiated MIDI notes. And I'm making a clip. Now when this clip is done, I'm going to drag that new clip over. I'm going to drag the old clip over to the MIDI channel, and I'm going to remove the arpeggiator. And the note information from the arpeggiation is there now. I'm going to grab a mouse synth. It's a freeware deadmau5 synth, or somebody trying to mimic deadmau5's tones. Okay, hear what it sounds like. It's a ping. Sounds beautiful. Pluck, ping, synth. Pluck. I'm going to put an arpeggiator over there now. I'm going to turn the timing down to 1/8. Increase the steps. Well, I don't think I messed with the steps on this one actually. Tech House drums. This is inside the Metaforming sample pack. Lay down a beat. Gonna do some sound design on the snares. Grab an isotope trash in aggressive, in the aggressive preset folder. I'm just going to grab the first one. Just going to pull the mix down a little so some of the dry signal comes through. Then I'm going to grab some kilohertz bit crush. Now I like that, but it's too much. So I grab the isotope trash and I Control G it to group it, and then I pull the kilohertz next to it so they can run in parallel instead of series. And I really like that. Bring the level down a little. Because the isotope trash has the mix turned down a little, some of the dry signal still comes through. Putting a limiter on the end of that just in case. Now I'm messing. I've added a glitch to VST to that operator arpeggio. Added a delay, I've added some reverb, and I'm just messing about to try to find a voice that I like, a sound that I like. It's overall, it's a little too active. That's a picture of that arpeggio information. I've removed the delay and the reverb, and now I'm switching out the operator for a tal bass line. Choosing an acid preset, acid saw. I'll turn off the VST for a moment, the glitch. Put a filter in there. I'm gonna add some automation in the filter cutoff. Here, I unlink the automation length so that I can have it independent of the clip length. I'm gonna end up setting this automation length, as you can see, to 14 bars, which is odd, which means that every time it rolls around, it's gonna be a little different. Now I'm choosing more presets, just seeing something that I like. It's interesting how often I use presets as a starting point and then dial in sound design later. Now I'm adding some Transformers movie sound design stuff. I kind of made a big collection and dragged it in there. I made this collection, I use it often. What I'm going to end up doing is warping this, and then I'm going to choose a selection and loop it. And then I'm going to right click and crop sample. Now I'm going to freeze all the tracks and flatten them. And now with those tracks frozen and flattened, I'm now going to go into the Ableton project folder. I'm going to isolate those tracks. I'm going to dump them into Audacity. I'm going to change them to mono so that they work well in the Korg ESX. And I'm going to put them on the card or I'm going to use the scratch.editor to put them into a brand new Korg ESX set. I recently did videos on both of these processes, batch converting 24-bit stereo samples inside of Audacity to 16-bit mono. So you can check out that. I'll put a link in the description. And I showed how to use the scratch.editor. So I'll put a link to that in the description as well. Now let's crack open the Korg ESX. Okay, first thing we need to do is lay down the bass line. Sounds amazing. Let's add the drums. Perfect. Let's hear all the elements from Ableton together. Let's load some other elements from the metaforming pack and create some addendums. Beautiful. Let's write some brand new parts for the ESX along the same lines, but using some of the elements from the Ableton clips. And let's write a bunch more parts and perform them a little bit to see how they're going to sound live. That sounds huge. Sounds amazing. So go ahead and like and subscribe so that you can hear the next installment. Let's get started with the ES2 and the Force. Also, go to the link in the description. Go to ghostwrittenclips.com and grab the Metaforming sample pack, which is large. The only sample pack you're going to need for a long, long time. Also, it completely is ever changing as I keep adding to it. I'm going to be adding to this sample pack, and you'll have access to all of the new additions straight through until the new year. There's also a light version of the sample pack, and that's going to change every month. But with both sample packs, you end up getting access to all kinds of exclusive tutorials and demos and education that you won't find on the YouTube channel, that will never be available publicly. And both sample packs are just packed with gigabytes and gigabytes of loops and samples and one-shots and synth notes and drums and effects and clips and Ableton projects and everything you could possibly need. Force projects, ES2 projects, ESX projects, Novation Circuit projects. In fact, there's dozens of those in the pack already. Anyway, everybody be blessed. I'll see you in the next video.